Yo. Holy moly. Holy. Okay. Alright, alright. We'll go live. We can do that. Hello. Hello. That was a short starting soon screen. It was 10 minutes. That's not short. Minnesota. Sorry for not a lot of streams recently, boys. I've been a little under the weather. But now we are becoming over the weather. Nothing serious, just like a little sore throat, little sniffles, little fatigue. But then I remember Jesus straight up died and then locked the fuck in and then came back. So who am I? Who am I? Who am I to just not stream? What's up, WoW Grandma? Did he really lock in if he sat on Ankh for days? Bro, that dude created Ankh. Think about it. Max, now that Sea of Thieves is on BNet, when will we get Max, D, Luffy, and the Dirty Boys on the SS Liquid? Wait, is it? When is that a thing? Or is it already a thing? I don't see it. Is it coming soon? I mean, I'm not into that. I mean, I guess I could be into like any game, I guess. But I was never a Sea of Thieves guy. What's going on in the old WoW news thing? Off WoW, I'm playing Split Fiction a bit. Ooh, I want to play Split Fiction soon. We are currently finishing It Takes Two, and I want to finish that first. It Takes Two is nice. Dude, we just beat the like, I don't know, the level where you're like in space kinda. That shit goes crazy. That level was actually so cool. Max, what's your NHL team? Don't have an NHL team. I could see a lot of teams winning this year though. Sea of Thieves is okay. You just need a dedicated group to really enjoy it. Yep, I understand that aspect of game design. When you realize that every single game is more fun with friends, making a game that's basically requiring that you are playing it with a group of friends, that's an okay model. That works. It's not going to be a huge game ever because there's so many gamers that are solo gamers, but I respect the fuck out of that. Max, how much do I have to pay the Patreon for unbleeped content? Huh? Like on my stream or the Potty C? Are you gonna watch Liquid in the AWC in 2 minutes? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. PvP doesn't really do it for me unless it's like a really close game. Max, you should have spun up the DK. Monk is kind of L, no cap, for real, for real. Dude, you know, you're right, but like I just like Monk a lot, and DK looks like the most unfun good DPS spec ever. That looks like a very not very fun version of Unholy. I'm probably just gonna today. I'm just gonna fly around and talk to you guys. Honestly, I might hit a key, but you know, I'm just chilling right now. I'm a gameplay enjoyer. I do love doing Big Damn. I do love it. But if you do a boring rotation to do that, that would make me not want to play. Max, next time you talk to a dev, tell them to bring back Brawlers Guild. That's not a thing. I don't just like talk to devs and then just like tell them to do things. You know? I wish I could do that. That'd be sick. That'd be so cool. Yo, can you port to Undermine from Dornegal? Oh yeah, literally right here. As a ret, can you tell Dazer to cut the stems? Yo, can we... What the fuck are you guys talking about? What? You guys keep saying stems. Is this a new bit? What's this bit? Check his recent stream VODs. Okay, is it referring to like him having the like infinite dopamine simulator shit all over his screen? Is that what you mean by stems? Is that what you're talking about? They're called stems. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's not my thing, so I don't know. I don't know anything about all that. Max, how goes your campaign against Windwalker target caps? We're counting on you to get it done. I would not do that. It sucks. Windwalker target capping does feel really shit, though. Feels V bad. You do so much better. I just think all target caps are not... I'm not a fan of it, but I have only become radicalized to it recently because I'm playing a class that is capped. The thing is, why I think it's unlikely to get it capped is their original goal for target caps is kind of filled with Windwalker. Like, you know how they're like, you know, there can be uncapped AoE classes, and there can be classes that are capped at 5, capped at 8, but if you're capped at 5, you should be better at 5 than the uncapped AoE class. If you're capped at 8, you should be better at 8 than the uncapped AoE class. If you have some abilities that are like really good at 3 target, you should beat everyone else in 3 target. And I think that idea is fine with how varied WoW is in gameplay, but it doesn't actually work that way. Like there's not an equal amount of all of those things. Also, that statement hasn't been true. A lot of the times mass AoE classes are just as good on 5. And then the main problem, which some people would argue whether it's a problem, is that Mythic Plus basically just cares about mass AoE. There's some dungeons where that's not true, like Theater of Pain this season. But the problem is there's this game mode, like Raid has everything. Raid has like very rarely mass AoE, but there was a ton in Nerebar Palace. But you know, it has a lot of like 3, 4, 5 target cleave, and then those classes like Windwalker really excel at those because it exists. So it's really a Mythic Plus problem for target capping, not a Raid problem. Which is not the entire game, right? So that's probably a big reason why it hasn't been addressed. And then Blizzard has tried to address target capping in other ways, right? Like, why do you think they added so many mechanics to so many packs for so many years. They wanted to like challenge you more, but they ideally wanted you to pull less. So there were more pulls in dungeons, and those lower target cap things could become more relevant. Now, as a player, most players would tell you that pulling big is really fun, and you want to do that instead. So that solution to that problem doesn't work for you if that's how you feel, right? So then we're back to square one. Now this season, they took away a lot of the mechanics. And what happens again? It's all about mass AoE. It's all about pulling everything again, which was kind of what they were trying to solve in the first place. So yeah, here we are. We're if you don't mass AoE, you're fucked in dungeons. Happens. Max, do you think the devs will ever come around to loosening mythic raid lockouts or raid sizes? Raid size is unlikely, at least with like the major raids. Although I do think if they were to ever do a Crucible of Storms again, if they were to ever do like mini raids, I think it would be cool if one of them was 10-man. I think that would be fun. But like for major raids, no. Yeah, I don't know if they'll loosen the mythic lockout. It would be kind of nice, though. I also doubt it. They've given their reasoning for that a few times. Like, let's just say as a solution in Mythic Plus specifically, most abilities that are capped at 5 or 8 are capped at 20. Literally everyone just has mass AoE in Mythic Plus specifically. I wonder if that would solve the problem or if it would just move the goalposts. You know? Like, now that everyone mass AoEs, aren't you maybe focusing more on raid buffs? Are you focusing more on who does the most single target or cleave? And then it just becomes a different thing. Although I guess it wouldn't be that big of an issue because like boss damage in this game is relatively balanced, much more than any kind of cleave profile. So I don't think that'd be that big of a deal. However, what's not balanced is people's single target in AoE spec though. That's still like it's better than it used to be, but it's still pretty like, you know, some classes get all their cleave really easily, and some have to give up a lot of single target to get it. Oh my god, title, heart, let's go. What an interesting... Oh, I'm not religious at all, by the way. I can just respect someone for locking the fuck in, which Jesus did. So sorry if you thought it was something else, but yeah. W Jesus. Dude, you guys ever wonder what actually happened with that? Like Jesus, and this, dude, I'm just gonna pre-apologize because if you're really religious, this is definitely going to offend you, but hopefully not by a lot. But, because like Jesus definitely existed. Like, he's one of the most documented humans in history. But like the him whole like dying, literally dying and coming back to life thing. Like that's cap, right? Like that there's never been any other example of that happen. Or it's probably not true, right? So I wonder what actually happened in that situation to have that outcome be the one that was written about. Maybe he just had so much fucking aura, bro. Like he's just been aura farming his whole life. You know? To like people just thought he died and then he just like was just chilling and he was just all one big ruse, dude. Just an absolute beast. What is it, brother? You now losing half of Dinatical fans? I don't care, man. I'm not I'm not really trying to offend anybody. I like purely if you believe in something and that gets you going, that gives you some purpose in life, or that's just you just believe in something. I'm like 100% cool with that. I'm down. I could believe in whatever. Like I don't, but I don't look down on you for doing it. You can do all that, but also like you can talk about it. It's not that deep though. You know what I mean? Max, did you know Tar Island is an actual MMO? Bro, Terra's Land was so fun. Oh yeah, there was some IO. There was some fun IO tweets since I've last. Here, let's see. Let's catch up on what I've missed in the last few days since I hadn't streamed. Let's just go ahead and see what's going on in the old WoW world. I know there was an IO tweet that made people mad. Let's see dungeon updates. Oh, I heard about this. They made workshop where you have to LOS instead of being able to like still hit it. I understand why they did that change, but it feels so bad. Like LOSing or just let's just say AFKing is a feeling that is universally terrible. There's so many examples of this. Every raid boss where you have to LOS, people hate that part of the fight. You guys remember Necrotic? Why did people hate Necrotic? For a few reasons, but one of them was tanks had to just go fucking AFK and let that shit fall off, and just AFKing feels like shit. The tanks that were able to cheese it with like immunes and stuff, it didn't really matter for them because they didn't have to AFK, And any same thing with Melee. Like when Melee had to do what was that one affix Vortex or something? The one that like Melee just like got knocked around everywhere, or not bursting, storming. Yeah, storming and spiteful. Why did people hate spiteful? Well, because if you were a Melee, a lot of the times you just had to AFK because spiteful existed, right? So them creating a scenario where you 100% have to LOS just feels terrible. There's never a scenario of that not being true. But I know why they made the change, because whenever there's like a certain way to do a boss where like you can ignore or cheese a mechanic, it's not a universal thing that everyone's experiencing. Like if they feel like Cujo is really difficult for people and there's like you don't know if you're gonna be able to LOS it or not because it requires some specific tank positioning on the corner, and like it's frustrating when it happens or doesn't happen, so they're like, okay, we're gonna standardize that. Let's just not make it happen and nerf the health of the boss. But everyone who has figured it out is like, well, this sucks because now we have to do the bad thing every time. It doesn't matter that he has less HP. It's just like not playing your characters sucks, Strange change. I think I'm just guessing, but I think that would be their argument as to why they did it. Like a lot of times I know some people think this and they're just like, well, why did they make this change? It's like, well, Blizzard just doesn't want us to have fun. It's like, well, it's usually not that simple. Like it's usually they're trying to solve some kind of a problem, and sometimes they solve it the wrong way and make it worse or make it less fun and stuff like that. But like that one, I think I get why they did it. That's probably the argument they would make, but I also think it was a bad change because we're like halfway through the season, right? Like, are we halfway through the season? Is that true? I don't even know if that's true. But we're here in the season, and it just seems like an anti-fun change. Also, I will say, as a tank, I haven't done it this season, but I did it a lot during the BFA MDI. The workshop, like getting the boss into that position as a tank is like fun. It's like a nice challenge to like, because it's not always the same, because it happens a lot of times right after the leaps, and like you only have a certain amount of time to get it in range of the thing from the leap. So like you have to improvise a little bit on exactly the best way to consistently let your DPS hit and you hit during it. And I always found that really fun. But I bet the reality is, especially if you go into lesser skilled groups, I bet the whole I can potentially hit it if I find... There's a really good weak aura for it where it just pops up the little shrouded icon when you're actually LOS. But, like, I bet a lot of people were dying to that, just trying to do it and not knowing if they were actually safe. It's, like, definitely a janky mechanic at a high level that people figured out and was fun, but I bet it was, like, really, really frustrating, which is why they removed it. But again... Gonna, if you had figured it out, it's gonna suck real bad. What else they do? Nerf the yes men. Did they nerf the... They just nerfed the healing on the last boss. Dark Flame Cleft. After we talked about it on the Potty C. W Potty C. And... Okay. Ooh, Mega Zap is nice. Okay. Nerf the Paladin's HP. Nerf HP of a few mobs. That's nice. Alright, what else happened? Oh yeah, they buffed Demo and then pre-nerfed it because it was going to be like unbelievably insane. I think we saw what happened during the Season of Discovery Raced World first. Season 2 Mythic Plus rankings, Week 6 dungeon participation. What are we looking at here? How do I... Is it this picture? Spec popularity, and this is for each key level. Wow. That's kind of fascinating, isn't it? This is such a cool visual representation of how the meta works. Like when people say like, oh, in lower keys, I feel like I don't get invited. And like, it's like, oh, it's just high keys where they're really specific. But like, you can literally see that like right up until the point where you're doing low keys to where you're doing your weekly keys, every single class is represented almost equally. And then the second you start doing the resilient keys, it's just like every single level becomes more and more exclusive as to what the like actual best comp is. And that is and I don't think this is like, I don't think this list is like indicating that something's like wrong with the game either. I think this is like, if you run the simulation with a million different balance, whatever the best comp is, it's going to look very, very similar to this. It's just how it works. There will always be meta. Yep, that do be how games work. Although I do respect and I do kind of miss the times in this game, or not in this game even, just in gaming. I do miss the like, I would say pre-2020 is when it got really bad. But like even like 2016 and before that point, the whole idea and concept of a meta was just, in all of gaming, was just so muted compared to what it is now. It existed in the high end, but it didn't infest the overall thinking of like the entire player base. But even like your most casual player now, before playing any game, even not even a competitive game, just any game, they're straight up ripping like a tier list and then using that to decide their character before playing. Well, not everyone, but I think a lot of people, it's a thing. What is the Google search trend for the term meta? Oh, that'd be an interesting thing to look at, but I don't think that would be entirely indicative of it. Because I think you could be interested in the meta and not actually use that word. ARPGs are the worst for this. Oh, yeah. Like, most people play ARPGs as a purely single-player game of, like, play game, get loot, get faster, get stronger, do content. And a lot of people are like, well, I have to play the thing that goes the fastest. And it's like, well, really, there's like a very different gameplay kind of feeling for different classes. And you're more likely to end up not playing it if you dislike that part of it. Like for me, I fucking love Sork. I will play Sork twice as long in any season as any other thing. I just fucking love it. And for you, that may be Barbarian or Rogue, right? Any dungeons today? I think today I'm just chilling. I might rip one, but I mean, I'm fine. I've done all the keys now, so I feel like I've experienced it. I think League of Legends and other MOBA games boosted the meta culture. I don't know if there's any game that's particularly responsible for it. Like, those games were just around and popular for a really long time. But like, I mean, I'm pretty sure people played more varied champions back in like 2012, 2015. You kind of just like played whatever you found fun. Although I don't really know how League works, to be honest with you. I wouldn't feel qualified talking about it. I'm just kind of making shit up. I don't believe you, Max. All you do is play Melee in every game. I don't play I play Melee in WoW. I don't play Melee in every game. Dude, I'm doing some super exciting shit this week, chat. I won't be able to stream Tuesday through Thursday. It's gonna be fucking hype. And I can tell you about it at some point in the future, maybe. Actually, I don't even know if that's true. But it is gonna be hype. It is for sure linked with the increase in YouTube and streaming popularity because there are more eyes on tutorialistic style content than that would say in 2012 where everyone was just ripping Halo. There still is a decent amount of gamers that don't really consume the like video game mainstream content outside of just pure entertainment. But as far as online spaces are concerned, if you're ever talking to people about a game on Twitter or obviously Twitch chat or a Discord, I think people that are tapped in enough to ever be a part of those forums are also going to be heavily influenced by like YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. So for all the people you hear from about gaming, it's kind of universally true, but there's just still, I think, a ton of people that play every game. Or a ton of games, not every game, but just play a ton of games, and they're just like totally pure gaming. Also, hardcore respect that. Can't say that and then not share. I literally can't. I will be killed. I feel like most people who play games are very casual about it and don't spend their time online. Yeah, I mean, that's like a documented fact about gaming. It depends on the game and the community behind that specific game, but in general, most gamers are like, they're just fucking gaming when they have some free time, and they're not super tapped into online culture at all. People who play the Bladestorm Warrior archetype in every game. Yeah, I mean, see, I'm the opposite of that. Nothing sounds more boring to me in any game than just ripping like the human longsword main, you know, or like halberd, or like just strength stacking barbarian guy. That is, now there's a lot. I think that is is that the most popular archetype of, I think, most people who game. I think that's the singular most popular archetype if you could ever choose in any kind of RPG. I mix it up. I'm like a mixture between like some wizard shit and like rogue, any kind of like squishy but really agile, fast attacking melee character. That and like a wizzy is what I play in most games. I like basically, I don't think I've ever, for example, I probably have, I don't even want to make, I have thousands of hours in Diablo 3 and 4, and I don't think I've played a barbarian ever. Not one time. It just doesn't appeal to me at all. I've played everything else. Max, do you remember when Larian made fun of their player base when BG3 beta was out and they compiled the most common choices for the custom character and it was a human fighter? Yeah, but that's just not surprising, though. I mean, it is funny, but yeah. Give me any pet class. Yeah, oh, in ARPGs, I do have a soft spot for minion based classes, specifically Necromancer, just because when I was a kid, Diablo 2 was like one of my first games I played really a lot. And I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't do any kind of trading or online shit at all. I just ripped the campaign as a minion necro and was absolutely loving life. I was the happiest dude ever. One thing I found it kind of hard to do. Oh, I did need to play that one. I need to try that one JRPG and see if I can get into it. There was a JRPG that people said was like really good last year, and I didn't end up playing it. I'm trying to like a JRPG at all, because I like RPGs, but and here's why I don't think I like JRPGs. JRPGs like kind of over-explain everything, and there's way more cutscenes, and it seems like those games are developed for people who like really want to, like, they really fuck with that story, like they're in there. And it's unfortunate, there's something wrong with me, but I do not find storytelling in video games interesting almost ever. I skip every cutscene, pure gameplay only angle. And JRPGs usually are not made for that. Although there was a game that I skipped every cutscene in Final Fantasy, the most recent Final Fantasy game. And I did like that game quite a bit. Had a huge flaw, which was you couldn't enable hard mode on first playthrough. You could only do it in New Game Plus. That game's fatal flaw, but it was still very fun to like figure out all the combos. The combat in that game was so fun to mix and match shit. Really, RPGs in general are really made for skipping story. It's mostly the entire point of it. Really? Because like, I don't think that's true. Like, I'll give an example. I've streamed a few games, and dude, whenever I skipped story, chat was mad as fuck. Also, I remember talking to a Diablo person, D4 person, when I was at Blizzard a while ago. And a comment they made, I wasn't directly involved in this conversation, I was just like listening to it, and they said something like the average D4 player, by a vast majority, is like someone who plays and does the campaign and then stops playing D4. And to me, that sounds crazy, because it's like, dude, like the game for me fucking starts when the campaign's over. That's the beginning of the game. I'm dreading every second I'm in the campaign just so I can start doing the ARPG thing. But Diablo's audience is a little more specific, where it's a more normie audience, but I think that's a good thing to actually test this theory, because most gamers are gaming normies, 100%. So the whole idea that like most people in RPGs just skip the story, that Diablo story tells me that that's not true, because it's crazy to me that people are just watching every cutscene and then they're like, they finish the story and they're like, okay, I'm done with Diablo now, until they add more story, which sounds fucking nuts, but that's just like how a ton of people play games. Wait, your way of playing games and the only campaign one seems both wild to me. Oh, interesting. Are you a both enjoyer? Like any game you really get into has to have a story that you kind of like, but also you get into the end game? That's probably the most pure way. I feel like any game developer would love if every gamer was like that. You know? Says someone that just confessed to skipping all story. Well, yeah, I mean, I just don't find that shit interesting. I watch a bunch of, like, media, watch a bunch of YouTube, movies, television. And, like, anytime I'm watching a show or movie that isn't good, I skip that, too. I just turn it off forever. Me skipping things in a video game is a learned behavior from me being uninterested in... Like, maybe this is a hot take, but, like, most of the time, like the vast majority of the time, video game storytelling is just an absolute tier below like a really, really well-made film or the kind of TV that I really like, which is definitely, like the kind of stuff they spend a lot of time on. I'm not a big like procedural guy, even though I can respect the fuck out of it, like trying to fall asleep and stuff. But like a really well-made TV show or movie that I would be into is it just absolutely dunks on games. That's not true of all games, but the majority is just not even worth my time. When does the target cap thing get changed now that Potty C talked about it? We already talked about this earlier on the stream, so I probably won't repeat all of it, but basically, short answer, they're probably not going to. But games should have an I don't care option when it comes to story where you can just check a box to skip everything. Yeah, I agree with you, but there's a big reason why that doesn't exist. Like when you make a game, you want to like shepherd your players to play it a certain way. And you always have the option to skip, but they would rather you always be presented with the opportunity and then the option to skip it rather than like never see any of it. Because they do want you to get into it. They want to get the doubters. They want to get the skeptics. They want to get the people like me that are not interested in their story, like actually like it because they put a lot of time into it and think it's good. Not sure if this was asked before, but have you thought about sinking a couple days into the new season of The Last Epoch? Nah. Yes, if I was just spending a lot of my time gaming. Like, I would say from, like, 2012 to, like, 2023, you know how, like, you have a certain amount of time in your life, like, you sleep for, like, a third of your life, the other half is, like, work, and then you have, like, some free time. So, like, probably my work was gaming, and then my free time was gaming. So, like, 50 to 60% of my life was playing games, and now I stream a lot less outside of the race, and during my free time I am almost never gaming, so there's just a lot less room to play games. I usually reserve that for things I'm really looking forward to. I'm not like trying to use any game I can find to fill my time. It's filled with other things, and gaming is like separate from that. I skipped Genshin because I couldn't skip the story. Genshin gameplay is actually pretty good, but the story is so ass. I can't even play Genshin for a different reason, and it's because I have a huge problem. Like, this is probably unsurprising due to the, like, aspect of what I do in WoW, but, like, I find the team building aspect and the, like, having the best comp and the best strategies as something I look forward to in every game. I'm obsessed with it. And unfortunately, in games like Genshin Impact, I would really only find the game fun with the process of just getting and achieving the like best characters and getting them as strong as possible. And that just means spending a lot of fucking money, and that's just a bad decision. You know, like if you know the only way I'm going to enjoy that game, even though it's a literal single player game as far as I'm aware, it would only be having all of the best things in it, and that being true makes it just not... But aren't you a billionaire? Yeah, billionaire. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Knowing that you would enjoy a game only by spending thousands of dollars on it, probably more, right? Tens of thousands maybe, which is that's still really bad. You never want to do that. And even if you can, that doesn't mean you should. It's still a bad decision, you know? I mean, that's kind of subjective. There's probably people out there with a lot more money than me that spend money like that on games and can justify it, and it doesn't matter to them or whatever. But, like, that just, to me, sounds really bad. And then something I've heard, this is probably unlikely to happen to Genshin, but something that I've heard happen with other gacha games is like eventually the servers just shut down and the game stops supporting it, and then all that stuff you spent money on is just fucking gone. Like it's just fucking see you later. No big deal, just sell the account. Yeah, but you can't sell the account for, I mean, I'm assuming you're not going to be able to sell the account for anywhere near what you paid to get all those things, because a lot of people don't want a fully juiced out account. They want to go through the process of juicing out the account. That's the fun part, right? Like, I remember looking into sell my WoW account like many, many years ago, like 10 plus years ago. And this account had like multiple, like at the time they had these like world first like achievements and, or like top couple world achievements. This was before I ever started streaming, like a long ass time ago. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I need some money. I'm in my life. I'm fucking broke right now. Like, what can I get for this WoW account? And it was like $3,000. I had a bunch of unobtainable mounts, had realm first titles. It was like a fucking jacked account. Like, the only account that would like dunk on this would be like, at the time would have been like a Scarab Lord account. Multiple geared characters, but that doesn't really matter because those are replaceable. It's mostly the obtainable stuff. It was like $3,000. Bro, do you know the $3,000 is like absolutely nothing in comparison to like the time and effort and the sentimental value. You know, even if, and I was absolutely fucking turbo broke. So, Max, my guild is at 15% on Muggsy. Any advice to make the last phase consistent? Not really. Just you just gotta like play the game. What would it be worth today, do you think? My WoW account? I have no idea. I would never sell it though. Probably not much, honestly. Like, maybe there's one specific person who's like a fan of me and just like, you know, just like a relic of people owning like a game signed ball from like their favorite baseball player or something. Maybe having my account would like mean a lot to them specifically. But the achievements on my account, nothing. I haven't farmed a mount or an achievement since Warlords of Draenor, I think. Like, I mean, I have like nothing there. I have a decent amount of rare mounts, but like I don't know. I just it's I've never even thought about it. It's irrelevant. I would never do it. My guild is struggling on sticks. They can't stop hitting shit or fucking each other up. How to fix? You just gotta keep letting them play the game. Sticks is a particularly rough progression boss, because really to get any consistent progression, so the same reason that Styx is a boss you can randomly kill like pretty early in progression is it's just you need the right people to get picked. But the reality is people need repetition in the balls to become good at them. And it's just going to take, like, I'm just going to make this up. It's going to take 50 pulls just for everyone to do the balls enough to be good at them. Now, they've nerfed it a bit. There's, like, the Scrap Masters are, like, super easy now. But, like, not running over the bombshells and stuff, like, it just takes a few attempts. And unfortunately, not everyone gets a ball every pull. So it takes a long time for your entire guild to become proficient at the fight. Who was risen and who locked in? Fucking Jesus, bro. He went crazy on that shit. Walked right out of there. Are you going to do any undercover raid lead? Eh. It's not a terrible idea, actually. Imagine glazing J-Dog on stream. Fucking J-Dog. Yeah, I'm on sticks, and it feels like the eye level or more damage is not going to be something that fixes it. Yep, it's just a fight where you have to learn it. I think it's okay. I would say fights where, like... So, there's some fights where... the skill disparity in your guild, so the difference between the best player or the group of best players or the worst player or the group of worst players, there are bosses that specifically are frustrating for those guilds. And there are some bosses that don't necessarily require everyone to do the same thing. You can have the better players make up for the worst players thing, right? And not everyone is able to get a guild with good skill parity, right? So you just take what you can get. I would say Styx is a boss where if your best player and worst player skill levels are pretty significantly different, it's going to be very, very frustrating because you're realistically not killing the boss until your worst player learns how to do the thing. And there's really no amount of nerfs that can change that. I also don't know if that's necessarily bad boss design, but it is something that is a thing in WoW. Max, there legitimately might be 5 guilds with relative skill parity in WoW, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, I someone would have to legit run a study on that, which would be just impossible, because how do you determine WoW skill, you know, in large mass, right? But yeah, you're probably right. I mean, even, bro, like, even rating top 5 world when we weren't going for race to world first, like, this was back in Legion, we had, dude, like, our players at the end of our bench were nowhere near our best players. Like, that's not true now, but even then that was true. So the amount of guilds in the world that have relative skill parity is probably, you are right, it's probably extremely small. Gaming today, or are you just making YouTube shorts? Dude, I hope you all know my YouTube short guy has been fucking pumping out content. But I just want you all to know that I never start a sentence thinking this is going to be a YouTube short. He just cranks that shit out. Love that. W. Franck? It's actually not Franck. It's specifically a different person. I currently feel like I'm in a guild with pretty low skill disparity. Wait, what does that mean? Pretty low skill disparity? Does that mean that your guild has good parity? Like, people are remotely the same skill level? At least Brood, you could cope and say weak or issue, whereas Styx, you can only... I just DC'd. Oh, I didn't. Wow. You can only say don't roll over bombshells so many times. Well, okay. Yeah, actually, you're right. You could look at it as cope, and it can be frustrating that it is a weak or thing that's, like, really annoying. But that boss is the same thing. Like, Brood Twister, weak or not, you kind of just need to get picked a certain amount of times to know where the eggs are in different orientations in the room, because, like, they look different depending on which phase you're doing. That's very similar. The smartest thing you can do on a boss like Brood Twister is actually, if you could, we didn't do this because, like, we expect everyone in our guild to be able to do all this stuff, but, like, if these weak auras were not made for us and they were made for another guild, you would actually want to hard assign, pardon my language, but, like, your dumbest players, like the people who take a long time to, like, figure stuff out, literally just make it so they get diamond every single time. This dumb melee, they get star every single time. And then what that'll do is you've just made the fight infinitely easier for the people that usually are the hardest at learning the fight, and then you make your good players have to learn all of them. Depending on your guild and your players, that could be something that's doable. We do stuff like that in progression all the time. Hard assigning, it's not because of player skill, it's like, an example on Brood Twister was Diamond and Star. Diamond and Triangle were always we always marked those on the Gahoonies, the little guys that needed to be knocked in, and we always hard assigned Druids and Evokers to them, so there was always a Wing Buffet or a Typhoon on them So we were able to stack the ads. But like, you could absolutely make the weak aura hard assign certain players based on intelligence, you know. And they will still somehow fuck up. That's just how it is. I mean, they're just objectively less likely to fuck up. Like if you take a player in your raid and you're, you know, let's look at a boss like Brute Twister, right? Doesn't matter how bad they are. Like, will they still mess up? Maybe, but like, they're certainly way less likely. What's a raid we've done? Am I thinking Dragon? Wait, it was in Nerebar. Was Brute? Yeah, Brute Twister was in Nerebar Palace. So like, if you have the boss here on this thing, and then you have Star, Orange, Diamond, and Triangle. And these are the ones you're popping, right? Something like this. And then you have the boss right here. If you have someone in your group who's dumb, like warriors are dumb often, right? And you know that every single time the warrior gets picked, they will have Star. The warrior is objectively going to make less mistakes than if they could get all four. Because like if they get all four, they go into every single set and then they get a marker and then they instantly have to react and they're like, where is all of the markers? I need to know that. But if you simplify that and you're like, you don't need to know where all the markers are. Just every time there's a star down, you need to know where that is. You can even pre-place yourself on star because if you get it, you're going here. And if you don't, you can just fucking move. You're melee, right? That person is going to make significantly less mistakes than if they had to identify where all the markers were every time. Like, by a lot. But then if you wanted to even get it down even more, assuming your warrior isn't ultra stupid, warrior is actually, if you're just not even looking at pure player skill, warrior is a class where Brood Twister eggs are really easy because they have leap every single time they get picked. So like, a warrior has way more time to react to knowing where the marker is than anyone else. Because you could leap at the last second and make it to diamond or triangle, right? If you got picked there. Where a lot of other classes, by the time they realize where they're supposed to be, it might be too late. Not true with warrior. It's even better than like blink in a lot of cases, because a lot of players, especially if they're not as good, they're not going to blink really precisely, but leap is just a straight up reticle on the ground, right? I noticed this on our Sprocket rekill. I was always getting the same bomb. Yeah, so that's how, at least if you're using liquid weak auras, that's how it's made on purpose. You should... Now, this can't always be the case, especially for people lower down in the priority, but melee specifically and healers will almost always get bombs on the exact same set. That's not always true because of how the RNG works on colors, but those people specifically will be very consistent. I think VOD reviews have insane value on bosses like Styx, so something relevant happens, you can review it and the entire group learns it right away. You're exactly right. That is true. That's just true. Now, I said this one time, and I remember this was on a short somewhere, and I saw a YouTube comment, like, imagine Max thinking that in a casual guild, people are going to stay after raid or show up before raid for VOD review. And I think they're just misunderstanding what VOD review meant. I'm not saying you would show up early or spend any extra time. Like, even if you raid 3 hours a night, it is absolutely worth not pulling Styx for like 3 or 4, 5 to, 3 to 5 minute segments over the night and showing people what a ball being done right looks like and what a ball being done wrong looks like, so people can, like, what did we just say, right? Like, Styx is a boss where most guilds would need to pull it 50 times just so enough people can get the ball and learn from their own mistakes. But that's why VOD review is so good, because no matter what rank guild you're in, you can simply have someone make a mistake and have literally everyone learn from it. Not all mistakes are like that. Some require repetition and just, practice. But not a lot of them. Some of them are very basic things that are easy to mess up, and showing a clear video of someone doing that right or wrong can make a huge impact on people. Now, that's not true all the time. There are bosses where that doesn't help, and you should actually just slash pull 10 and keep going. But if you're talking about doing a boss in a shorter amount of time and saving time, VOD review is extremely effective. Let's have everyone join Discord real quick. Turn the stream on. Show it. Max, the vast majority of guilds of skill parity, everyone sucks in most guilds. Okay, well, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but even using your words, you can have skill parity in your guild where everyone sucks. You just need them to suck the same amount. Or relatively the same amount. That's what skill parity means. It doesn't mean high skill, it just means that the skill level is remotely close. The expectations then make more sense. People don't like not having skill parity, even though it's extremely like unavoidable. It's really hard to pull this off with that many people. It just feels bad. Like if you're someone on the lower end of skill in your guild, you feel bad for holding the guild back on some bosses. And then if you're on the higher skill in a guild, you get bored because you've already figured this boss out, and now you just need to keep pulling it and waste hours of your life because someone else is, you know, even if you can relate to them and you're like, you know, I know you can know that they're trying and you don't hate them or whatever, but it's still boring, you know? Some people don't feel bad at all. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of people in the world. There's people who can't read the room. There's people who are getting carried through every boss and are on the lower end of skill in their guild, and they don't feel bad because they're completely unaware of the fact that they're that much worse than everyone else, right? That there's people like that for sure. You really notice those people because they're often there's a reason for that. They're like, usually it's like an ego thing. Some people are aware that they're that person and still don't feel bad. Okay, yeah, I mean, you can keep throwing out situations. I mean, then those people are selfish, you know, but there's a lot of selfish people out there, so that makes sense. It's not, none of this is surprising. Like, really, I feel like it'd be such an interesting, like, psychological study to look at the WoW guild and, like, really dive into the personalities, because, like, there's just, like, you run into, like, every type of human doing this shit. Bro, P1 Sark, I had that figured out within 10 pulls. 100 pulls later, and Melee still don't know where to bait. It's not that they don't know where to bait. They could be lazy, but also that you could use like a UI element to make it easier. Like there's some bait weak auras that are like really, really nice. And the reason they need a weak aura or would like a weak aura is because the reality is, what does it tell you? If all the Melee know they're supposed to bait and they're not doing it, it's one of two things. They either all as a group don't care, which is unlikely. Probably maybe a few of them maybe just don't realize it's that important. Or it's just really hard. Sometimes fights are just really hard. And doing things consistently. Like if every fight was requiring nothing of you, doing something really easy like baiting in a certain spot wouldn't be difficult. It's just the fight's just trying to kill you a lot. Specifically P1 Sark, your health is low a lot, and people play significantly worse when their HP is low. Another reason why having good healers in your guild is massively important. Max, what's the most memorably rude / weird person you've ever bumped into in raiding? That's such a specific question. I would say, there was this dude at BlizzCon in 2013 that, like, usually the people that are this delusional, like, never really go outside, but this guy was outside. Met him at the House of Blues in Anaheim. And he was just talking to me about rogue stuff, and he eventually just uttered just like, yeah, dude, it's crazy when people mess up. And then I hit him with like I mean, like, I feel like everyone messes up at some point, you know? And then he's like, no, I've like literally never messed up. And then he was like starting to get kind of mad. I was like, yeah, man. I mean, fuck yeah. And then I was like, what are like, you know, like what are your you know, I was just kind of like entertaining it at this point. I was like, what are your logs look like? And he's like, oh, dude, like they're mostly purple, but like the reason they're not number one is like my guild just fucking holds me back. It's 100% fucking serious. I never really followed what happened to that guy. I wish I remembered his name. I probably wouldn't say his name because he's probably grown up since then, but like, bro, imagine thinking that you make zero mistakes. I mean, there are people who think that, right? Like, you guys have probably played with someone that is like pretty good, but just could not possibly admit their own mistakes. It's just something, it's usually an ego thing. Most people who say that don't actually think that. Yeah, there's like two kinds of that person. There's the person that knows they make mistakes but can't admit it to other people because they're insecure. Or there's the person that actually like hard blames everyone else. Like if they make a mistake, they're going to go through every single thing that possibly could have been someone else's fault as the reason it happened. I don't know what percentage is each. I would say there's probably more people that are just really insecure and are able to identify when they've messed up. They just can't say it to someone because their brain is built bad. Probably the kind of guy that thinks if someone else made a mistake before him, then that mistake was the reason he made a mistake. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Do you think that's more of like a nurture versus nature thing? Like, do you think some people, like that whole thing, do you think that people who act like that, do you think that you're just born built diffy like that? Or do you think it's a result of the people you were around or the way you were raised or brought up? I think it's a nurture thing, right? Like, because if you can just keep saying it was someone else's fault and get away with it and, like, no one checks you on that shit, you're just going to keep doing it. That's how people work, you know? But, like, if you just have a parent or just, like, an influential person in your life be like, bro, cut that shit out, man. Like, everyone makes mistakes. It's chill. And then you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. Insecurity is an entire other thing, you know? Like, you could be a kid and be around a parent that can't ever admit fault, and then they think it's like the worst thing ever if they do it because their parents are built bad, you know? Or they admitted fault once and then they were treated poorly for it. Oh, so true, actually. So true. Like, yo, my bad, and then someone just chastises you constantly, and you're like, all right, well, next time I make a bad, I ain't saying shit. Wasn't me. I don't want to get yelled at. All of those situations are sad. You can definitely unlearn behavior like that. Absolutely. Yep. Max, what type of feedback should I give my raid lead? Tell him to blow up. I don't know what he did, though. Max, what am I going to do with my life? I got permaban today, and I haven't done a single thing. All right, well, I mean, it's not that I don't believe you, big dog, but almost every single time someone gets permabanned, they did some shit for sure. But all good. Um, I appealed it and I am waiting. If I don't get my account back, I'm unsure what to do with my life. I have had this account since the launch of WoW. Never got any suspension or anything. Well, if you didn't do anything, I hope you get it back. But also, even if you did, just like check ball, man. Just go next. Just get the, just like make a new WoW account or like start doing some other shit. You know what I mean? Actually, I mean that does suck. When you put so much of your life into one thing and then it's gone, no matter what it is. Like I'm trying to think, like right now, I am unbelievably obsessed with hockey. Like I just play it so much. My entire life revolves around it, basically. If I sustained some kind of injury that made me unable to play hockey for the rest of my life, I would be severely depressed. Like severely. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So if that's you and WoW, right? Like, I feel for you for sure, especially if you got banned wrongly. And even if you did get banned rightly, they should give you your account back. You probably just messed up, man. Maybe you just maybe you cheated a little bit. Maybe you were slamming the old herb bot. Do people still herb bot anymore? Is that a thing? Like, I don't mean like, are there people out there that just straight bot crazy style? What I mean is like regular, like, dude, okay, back in like Kata, Mop, Wad, people would just, it'd be very normal for multiple people in your guild to just like throw an herb bot on at night with like basically being afraid of zero consequences. Get the old buddy going, you know, the old H buddy, and then it would be like you just wouldn't get banned. And I know it. I don't think it's been like that for a while. That's what I'm asking. Like, do you guys know if multiple people you play with slam an herb bot at night? I highly, highly doubt it. While I do understand when I'm saying that, like, there's probably some people that are like, of course, there's people who run around and bot with like 10 accounts at once. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just like reggy people. I think that stopped a while ago. Max, what do I do when I'm ready to kill a boss, but the boss isn't ready to die? Like a fake low pull on Sprocket or One Arm Bandit? I feel like Sprocket doesn't have fake low pulls. Sprocket's a pretty deterministic boss to kill. Like, you just kill it when it's ready to die. One Arm Bandit is not, though. So what do you do when, like, you get tricked into thinking you're ready to kill a boss on One Arm Bandit? I mean, you can do what I do, which is get mad. I don't think it's the best thing to do. But pretty frequently when we're ready to kill a boss that we're not actually ready to kill, it just feels like we are, I just get really fucking mad. So you could try that. That's what I do. And it works. It's fucking great. I love it. Dude, One Arm Bandit is like the most deceptively hard boss ever. I think it has the #1 ranking of a boss that appears easy, like really early in progression, but it turns out it's just way fucking harder than it looks. Max, are you a GTA 6 Andy? Hell yeah. Bro, I'll be playing the fuck out of GTA 6. That sounds really fun. Actually, counterpoint, what is there going to be in GTA 6 that's like meaningfully gameplay different than like GTA right now? Is it really going to be? I feel like it's going to be like pretty similar, right? It's just like updated, it's in a different spot, updated, probably some sick graphics, but I don't give a fuck about graphics in video games. RP scene will probably be revived, but only after a while, right? Doesn't it take a while to create those like custom servers? I actually wonder if GTA even wants that to happen, you know? Like, I feel like they understand the value that GTA RP has given to Grand Theft Auto. It's been insanely huge for them. It's kept them relevant for much longer than they otherwise would have. But also, Grand Theft Auto and most game companies just want to be in control. And having something so popular and so defining of your game be something that you're out of control of sounds like something they would hate. So I'm interested in how that goes. Wait, they bought out the main mod creators? Oh, they just hired them? Oh, I mean that that's not surprising given what I just said, right? They want control. Well, so I mean, what if they hired those people? That means they want to create an RP environment within the game, which should be a better experience than Community. But something tells me that I don't know enough about Rockstar, but it's possible that their system of control is going to make it worse than if it was community driven. That's certainly possible. Or they won't do shit. I mean, buying the creators of the RP stuff is, I mean, why else would you do that if you weren't going to do anything, you know? I feel like Rockstar the gaming company and Rockstar the energy drink have to like figure that shit out. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? You're both too big. You're both too big to be doing that. Does anyone drink Rockstar? That's a great question. I myself fancy an energy drink. I drink a ton of Monster now. I went through a Red Bull phase a while ago, a long time ago, probably when we were sponsored by Red Bull. But yeah, I don't like know anyone in my life that is like they just slam rock stars. Actually, no, there is one guy who made a comment. I play hockey with a guy who works construction. He works a lift, and I think construction guys might go crazy on rock stars. Purely anecdotal. This is based off of a single conversation I've had in my life, but that makes sense to me. Like, what's Rockstar's market? You know, like for example, if you're an absolute fucking beast, you drink Monster, of course. Oh, it's really cheap. Oh, I mean, well, that's the market then. It's the cheap energy drink. I'm a heavy equipment operator. We all drink Monster. Oh, shit. I mean, W, by the way. W. White Monster has taken the world by storm. Oh, dude, I'm going to say something controversial. I mean, I used to slam white M's, but there's at least 4 or 5 flavors that are of varying different kinds that just they all dunk on the white M for me. Like they're just better. The problem with Monster, and it's not really a problem, it's just there's just too much variety. They just have a ton of flavors, and they're all very good. But white Monsters are like synonymous with gaming, though. Have you tried Pacific Punch? Boys, we've tried a lot of Monsters. Because obviously TL has a million of them. Wait, I think I might have an actual list of them in the Discord somewhere. Nah. Max, do you ever worry about caffeine addiction and or how it affects your sleep negatively, especially during the race? So the way I drink caffeine is it's out of my system when I'm sleeping. So that's how I affect it affecting my sleep. But caffeine affecting your sleep is very real. Just before anyone comments on it, it has nothing to do, well, let's not say nothing, but it doesn't have to do with your ability to fall asleep. It just lowers your sleep quality significantly to drink caffeine before bed. But no, I don't really have any way of combating it. I'm hard addicted to caffeine. I need to drink it every day. If I don't drink it, I get a headache. But also, caffeine has like proven benefits for sports. So for exercise or lifting or playing hockey, it's just like proven to be good for that. So I'm slamming it. so that's just what it is. Well, here we go. White M is the basic hive mind choice. Real M drinkers know you gotta just pick the color you like the most as a color and then run with it. Fuck the flavor. You like pink, drink pink monster. You like pink? Drink pink monster. None of that. This shit tastes nicer. Shut up. We are in the 3rd grade. Pick your favorite color and go. I mean, not wrong. Like, if I went to a gas station and saw an unmarked, like, energy drink and it was just a blue liquid, like, I know what fucking blue tastes like, bro. I'm in there. Dude, you know what's crazy about Aussie Lemonade? When they launched that flavor, I don't know if it was through TL or not, but I got invited to, like, the launch party for that, and it was on a boat in LA. And I was just like, bro, I can't even begin to imagine what a, like, monster flavor launch party looks like on a boat. Like, what are we even fucking doing? I did not go. Max, have any of you or your raiders tried pre-workout before raid or right before a break going into more progression? I mean, a lot of us take caffeine. I'll give you one story I had, though. I remember this was more than 10 years ago, but I was in a workout phase, and I didn't get a lot of sleep the previous night, and we were raiding. I woke up, and I was like, well, I don't have any energy drinks, so I'm just going to hit some pre-workout. Now, normally that would be fine, but it had beta-alanine in it. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like the shit that makes your skin feel tingly. And really, some people really like it, but like basically when you work out, like the working out makes that feeling go away. But obviously I was sitting in my chair playing fucking WoW, so that was one of the most miserable experiences ever. I will never do that again. That was so uncomfortable. I felt like a fucking drug addict the entire raid. My only other real life thing that I thought was kind of interesting was I was living on an apartment in Louisville long time ago. This was in, holy shit, that was in college, so MOP? Something like that. Yeah. Doing, oh yeah, no, it was kata, spine progression. I was doing heroic spine of Deathwing, which we killed US 21st. What's up? What's up? Fucking get shit on everybody else that was below me. And we were in the middle of a pull and I was kiting blobs. Actually, what I was doing in the pull isn't relevant. But I ordered a pizza and it was there coming mid-pull, and I forgot that I didn't close my door, and my door had a screen in front of it. So big door was open, screen was there, which you can look in, and my computer, if you were to like look in the screen door, is like 10 feet in front of the door. So the guy came in between a pull and is looking at me like, here, please take this pizza. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, 1 second, bro. And then I continued to do like an 8-minute pull. And I just imagine being there for that long and just being like, bro, why can't you just fucking get up from your, like, he's acknowledging me and then just continuing to play games. And it's like, well, I can't wipe my guild right now. Yeah, it was at the beginning of a pull and I just kept having to look at him. And it was really awkward. Felt bad as hell. I had to walk up like 3 flights of stairs, too. Yes, you can. IRL greater than bosses. Bro, WoW meant so much to me in that raid. Like, me killing Heroic Spine US 21st or whatever was such a fucking major accomplishment. I would never wipe our guild, ever, to fucking get some pizza. Ain't no way. I would rather die. Not really, but, you know. Did you tip more, or do you not remember? I am probably not. I was a broke college kid, which is pretty fucked up, but probably true. Did you go to U of L? Yeah. What's poppin'? Are you just gaming? I'm actually gonna get off soon because I want to watch the Maple Leafs game, and I gotta help my girlfriend with some stuff. She's moving in, so we got a lot of moving tasks associated with that. Got to move some shit around. Because I had someone living with me. My ex-girlfriend was living here with me before, like a year and a half ago. And then when she moved out, we have this big walk-in closet, and I just took over the whole thing. And now I have to take it back. I have to give the other half up again. So I gotta I gotta figure that shit out. Is Max a Leafs fan? No, I think I love Mitch Marner and Matthews. They're so good. Specifically Marner. I think Marner might be my favorite player. But I don't give a shit about the Leafs though. But what am I thinking? I just think that's gonna be the best round 1 series, the Senators Leafs. Max, what do you think? Max, do you think that pizza guy hate watches you to this day? No, but that would be insane. Can you imagine someone's been hate watching me for 10 years? 12 years? Because of one interaction like that? That's fucking pure hating. That is real hate. All right, speaking of that, I gotta go though. Just a quick little hang today. That was all. Nice and fun. Hour and a half. Only yapping and doing donuts. So GG's. I will be streaming tomorrow though. So that's hype. I'm also feeling a little better. I've been sick. You know what makes me feel better when I'm sick is I exercise a lot. And then it makes me feel not sick at all. Even though I think that makes it harder to get over your sickness because your body's not resting enough. But also, I'm just built like that.